We got penguins, eagles, owls flying at us unattended. And on the other hand, we got this gold zombie that just won't die. I don't know why. And then to top it all off, we have this isekai world that's leaked into our world. And so now we have to deal with these new threats, this card that bounces everything back to our hand, and this griffin, another bird, that will just negate everything and go back into the deck. So that's the X0 Festival in a nutshell. But don't worry, I'm going to break down some decks that you can use and also things to expect and how to deal with them. Stay tuned for those. Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Shahid. I create content for Master Duel and the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG, and I hope you guys enjoyed that little intro segment. I actually came up with it out of nowhere, and yeah, so this festival is going to be absolutely crazy. I think there's a lot of powerful decks. I think there are some clear winners like Floowandereeze. You know, there's decks like Cosmo that are going to be very notable. Eldritch, Adventure, Earth Machine. You know, some of these decks are actually the loner decks too. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun to explain these decks, break them down. And at the end of the video, I'll also break down some interactions that you're going to see in the festival, which will hopefully give you an edge. So stay tuned for those. And yeah, we'll get straight to the first deck list. So we'll break down the first deck list here. It's the Ancient Warriors Adventure deck. Now, I didn't mention this in the intro, but I think it's a real sleeper deck, mainly because we don't care about the extra deck and we can benefit a lot off of using the adventure package, because a lot of ways to summon these monsters are actually special summons. So this deck actually interacts with the opponent very, very well, and we almost want to go second purely because of that. We have ways to actually deal with boards going second as well. We have the Lightning Storms, the Feather Dusters, the Raigekis. We also have, again, the Brave package, the Imperms. You know, these are cards that will shut down things like the Barrier Statue, which will give us an easier time. Against Barrier Statue, we have a lot of wind monsters. You know, a lot of wind monsters with good attack stats, which means we can deal with, again, the Barrier Statue. Because Floowandereeze is going to be the best deck in this little format. I think Ancient Warriors is a real sleeper pick. Aside from some ultra rare cards that you probably might have already, it's quite budget. I think it's quite budget. Top it off, we have cards like Small World, which, crazily enough, bridges our Ancient Warriors into either a Kaiju or Temple, Water Enchanters of the Temple, because this guy is a war attribute. So, you know, there's really interesting ways that we can bridge into different parts of the deck, and I'm actually really excited to play this one. So moving on, we've got the next deck list. You know, we did talk about Floowandereeze quite a bit already. We're just going to break them down quite simply. You know, Rabina can search Barrier Statue, Rabina can search Eaglin, Eaglin can search the Avian, the Riser, or the Empen, which is terrifying. And the reason why I think this deck is going to be the best is simply because it's so efficient, it's so powerful. I also don't think it's as necessary in this format. I think it's going to be a very weird format, to be honest, but it's another way to shut down every single combo deck, and I think it's going to give opponents a hard time. I actually think it's going to be the best deck in the X0 Festival. And I also released a video not too long ago breaking down the Adventure and Floowandereeze strategy, so you can watch that if you want. It will break down how to deal with these cards, interactions to look out for, and also where to hand trap and what hand traps to use. So, you know, if you're curious about Floowandereeze, how to beat them, check out that video. I'll put a link to it in the description. And yeah, guys, that's essentially the Floowandereeze deck. One thing I will add is I've opted to run the cross out. If it's going to be the best deck, you can also cross out cards like the map, cards like you know, Wandering Town, and you know, I think these cards are going to give you an edge. So yeah, that's my list for Floowandereeze. To my favorite part of the video, this is Earth Machine without an extra deck. This is actually one of the loner decks as well. So, you know, players who are looking at this deck and they like how it plays, you know, I'll explain a bit more about what the deck does. Essentially, you want to get your Machina Citadel in grave, you want to get your Machina Fortress in grave, and keep that loop going where, you know, Citadel's power is the fact it's a quick effect Raigeki, and at 3k attack, it's hard to take down as it is. But the power of this deck really lies in the trap cards, you know, so cards like 20 Tribute are great for the deck. Cards like Machina Overdrive, again, you know, help bringing out that consistency. You can also shuffle Machinas back into the deck to draw one card. And then to top it off, we have some, you know, interesting floodgates that, you know, Master Duel has not actually hit. Obviously, skill drain is at 1, like, which is understandable, but summon limit, you know, we don't summon too many times in one turn, so we can really take advantage of summon limit. And I think going first, if we can resolve any of these floodgates, we're going to have a really good time. And another really powerful Machina that we got in the latest pack, Wandering Travelers, is Machina Ruin Force. Now, this card, you know, is the ultimate closer. It's not once per turn effect to special itself as well, keep that in mind. If your opponent activates a card effect during the battle phase, pay half our life points, negate the activation, and then half your opponent's life points. That is crazy. And if you think about 8,000 halved is 4k, if this attacks directly, you win the game. And remember, we're summoning a lot of powerful boss monsters with high attack, so again, it just helps us close the game, but I think it's really powerful. and one of the reasons why I think Earth Machine is going to be a really powerful deck this festival. So that's the Earth Machine deck. I've picked out a few cards and discussed their interactions. I cannot wait to use this deck. I really want to see how this deck interacts with Floowandereeze and how well it does against the other decks in the meta. So yeah, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so let's move on to the part of the video that will help you understand how to beat these decks and the hand traps we should be using in this meta. So I'll start with what I personally think will be one of the best ones, that is Droll and Lockbird. The Machina deck searches a lot. Now this card absolutely shuts down Floowandereeze, so I think it's one of the best hand traps you can run as a super rare as well. It just means you're going to be able to craft this and not worry too much about breaking the bank. So highly recommend Droll and Lockbird. Next card is DD Crow. So again, I did mention in the intro of the video, Eldritch the Golden Lord is around, and we're going to have a lot of trouble dealing with that card and their advantage. So we use DD Crow to banish those traps, to banish Golden Lord, and make our lives a little bit easier. As well, it can also banish the Machina Citadel, and if Citadel is banished, the Machina strategy is not going to be as effective, so just keep that in mind. Ash Blossom, this card can hit the Fateful Adventure search to search the Griffin. It can hit the Sanguine that special summons Lord from the deck. It can hit any Flunder card that searches. If you're playing Master Duel for a while, you probably have a playset of this. Just run 3. I think it's going to be very versatile and can hit any deck in the meta essentially. The next hand trap is an interesting one. Nibiru, because of how popular Floowandereeze is, I personally will not recommend running this card. If they get to Barret Statue, it's dead. Their Empen summon is either by the 3rd or 4th summon, which means again Nibiru is dead. They do the rest of their summons on your turn. So again, the Nibiru is just really awkward, and I don't think we should be running it. And the last thing about Nibiru is the fact there is no extra deck, which means there are no crazy combos. Another reason why, again, Nibiru just is not going to be effective in this format. So I don't think you should run it. I think it's going to be a dead card. I really want to talk about this card. It can shut down the whole adventure package. It can do really well against Flunder. Shutting down the field spell gives them that window to perform their combos on your turn. So hitting the field spell is really powerful. The question is, do we run this card? And it follows the same line of questioning as Nibiru, simply due to the fact that it only draws off of special summons. But remember, Floowandereeze do not special summon at all. So this card is going to be again another dead card, and in that matchup you really want to see your most powerful card. So I'm personally not even going to run it. I just don't think it's going to be that effective. And I will give a mention to Gospel. It can hit the Water Enchanters of the Temple effect to search a Rites. It can also hit the Sanguine, and that's pretty much it. And then one final honorable mention, we are going to see a lot of Floowandereeze, and if they have Barret Statue, we're going to have a lot of trouble, right? So just running Godala, the Mystery Dust Kaiju, I think it's the best way to deal with the Barret Statue, and also it's the best way to deal with other boss monsters that other decks will run. Again, in the Eldritch matchup, if they don't have Lord on the field, Golden Land traps, they won't really have effects to do anything. Godala is a really funny card. It just absolutely shuts down boss monsters, and we love that. So yeah, that's Godala. Guys, before we round up the video, I want to mention some deck lists that I think people are going to be running that are really powerful as well in this festival. Decks like Cosmo, if you like Star Wars, if you like Wizard of Oz, you will love this deck. I think it plays really well into this festival. It doesn't care about an extra deck. Dark Destroyer is a very infamous card. I think Cosmo is again one of the top 5 decks in my opinion for this format, and if you like the idea of it, definitely check it out. I'll also be putting some other decks on the screen right now and links to how to build them. And guys, if you like the video, make sure to drop a like. It really helps out with the channel, and let me know what deck you're going to be running in the festival. I'm going to be rocking the Earth Machine deck 100%. I love that archetype, but I also want to mess around with that Ancient Warriors, maybe a little bit of Flunder, maybe Cosmo, let's see. But yeah guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.